Hidden in the heart of Amish country is a place filled with muscle and horsepower. And surprisingly, life-changing lessons as well. So what can a barn full of cars teach us about building success? Lesson number one, passion is fuel. I'm sure when Barry started out his car barn, he wasn't doing it to be famous. I suspect he was doing it just out of passion. Yeah, we're here in beautiful downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Made it up to Barry's car barn today, and we had a absolutely wonderful time there. A lot of lessons I think that we can take away from visiting Barry's. It's just wild to me that a place housing 50-some cars and motorcycles, of classic American muscle, is all like right there in the heart of Amish country, of all places. Like, why? Like, why is this place here? But I thought it was amazing. Yeah, the first lesson that I think we could take away from visiting Barry's car barn is that passion is fuel. I'm sure when Barry decided, like, hey, I'm going to go and start this classic car museum, he didn't do it just from a business plan perspective. I think he did it because he had an absolute insane passion for cars. Not just any car, but just incredible American muscle cars of the likes that I don't think I've ever really seen a collection like that. I was blown away and maybe a little bit jealous. I keep thinking to myself, like, yeah, I really need to get a classic car one of these days, but who knows? Who knows when that'll happen, or if it will happen, but hopefully someday. I think another key takeaway from Barry's car barn is that the details matter. It was pretty obvious that Barry has meticulous attention to detail on his cars. Every single, like I really liked all the sheets that kind of described exactly how many were made. A lot of them still had the original window sticker for the car. And then just the quality of the restoration and the maintenance on the vehicles was just impeccable. So it was really cool to see. And I think there's an analogy there, or a takeaway, I guess, for us as we approach our lives. Details do matter. That's, at the end of the day, it's those details and that attention to detail, I think, that separates the good, or just the kind of mediocre, from the great. That's what I want you to think about and take away when you see these beautiful muscle cars is attention to detail, and that's what really makes them great. The third lesson we can take away from Barry's car barn is to preserve what matters. Those incredible cars there, I was talking to my father-in-law about what makes those automobiles so special. And I think a lot of it is just the uniqueness of how they are, right? And how they're preserved. Nowadays, at least where I live here in the snow belt, things just don't last. Things rust out and they just get trashed pretty easily, it seems, these days. So to see such nice pieces preserved for so long, it's awesome. It's worthy of being in a museum where people can admire these automobiles. And I think that's a lesson that we can take too. So there's more to just building your success and in life, but there's also that aspect of preserving it. Just as those automobiles have been beautifully preserved in that museum, as you're building your success, maybe whether it's financial or your reputation or whatnot, it's also something you need to think about as you go, is how you want to preserve it. The fourth lesson that I think we can take from Barry's is to stand out by being unique. As we look at some of the quantities of those cars, like that incredible 1970 Chevelle, where there was only less than 5,000 of those cars that were made with that particular big motor in it. That's really what makes it special, is just how rare something like that is. Under 5,000 is a pretty low quantity of anything these days, especially the way everything is so mass produced in this day and age. We're kind of heading into this age of Teslas and electric vehicles and just mass production. And know, I hate to say it, but I feel like in a lot of ways, the automotive market is struggling that way. Like, I feel like it's sort of losing its soul compared to what we had with some of that classic American muscle that I'm showing you here today. So hopefully that changes at some point in the future, where the automotive industry does get its heart and soul back, or finds it again. It's a nice Dodge going by there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the automotive market. See if it gets its soul back at some point. But for now, you know, I guess we'll just have to go to these museums, and maybe if you're lucky enough to own one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you have a classic car, what do you have? What year is it? Tell me all about it, because kind of like geeking out on classic cars every now and again and learning about those. The fifth lesson I think we can take away is to surround yourself by inspiration. When you go to a place like that, you can just kind of, you can feel it around, like it's inspiring to be surrounded by those kind of cars and those kind of unique pieces. So that's definitely something that I took away from that visit. I think my encouragement for you would be, like, what inspires you? You know, maybe like me as a guitar player, I find it inspiring to play guitar when I have my amplifier set out, my effects pedals, or if I have my acoustic guitar out on a stand. I take inspiration in a space like that. And I can just imagine when Barry built that barn that houses all those amazing automobiles. I can just imagine what it felt like for him to be able to walk through there and see each of those. And I bet he still lights up. I mean, I've never met the guy, but I can imagine when he's walking through there, he probably lights right up every time he sees one and talks about it, which I think is fantastic. And you know, no matter what your hobby is or even your job, right? Just set up that area in your space that you can go to when you're seeking inspiration. One thing I loved about Barry's Car Barn too is just the unapologetic approach that the automotive manufacturers took with some of those classic vehicles. You know, when you're looking at some of these gorgeous old Corvettes and these, like, the Shelby Mustangs, it was crazy, I think, to think that that's how those designers were thinking at the time. And I think it's wonderful that they would step out like that and think that way. Because I'll tell you what, you know, I'm sitting here looking at these city streets, right? And like, I'll be honest with you, I think nowadays a lot of them are just they're just boring. Like, I'll tell you what, I drive a minivan. I drive a gray minivan. It's like, it's freaking economical, but it is boring as all get out. I think you need that excitement. And I think that's a lesson we can take in how we approach our life. Are you taking life with that kind of bold muscle car approach, or are you just trying to fit in with all the other gray minivans that are around you? Let me know in the comments, what kind of dream are you restoring? I'd love to hear about it. Click on the next video that's popping up. I'm sure you're going to love it.